Hey, yo, Mo, I'm fucking with this.
Peace. This is your boy Juice One with another episode of Smoke and Jokes, where we talk about today's topics while indulging in the greatest of herbal essences. Today's show is brought to you by Strawberry Sherbet. Yeah, strawberry sherbet. I think you want to go and get a spoon, because we got them flavors. All right. I'm glad to have everybody back. And today I want to do a breakdown of a movie I watched called The Witches, which stars Octavia Spencer and Chris Rock. Now, it have a few other people, but I'm not really familiar with them. I don't really watch movies and TV like that. But when I do, this is the stuff that I see. So I'm gonna do a breakdown of a movie, The Witches, and it stars basically Chris Rock as the voiceover. But him as a child, he basically loses his parents to a car accident. Now, he goes to his grandmother and he moves with her. Now, while he's with her, he comes across a witch. Now, he didn't know what a witch was, and she breaks down to him what a witch is, meaning that, this is nothing to play with. And so from that, they decided it was time to basically get out of there because she was like, oh shit, we got to go. Now, because I'm going to show you in the clip where she's basically telling him that, you know, don't mess with the witches and don't be in places where you can be a victim in the hood, the ghetto, because they come in places where if you are broke and nobody can claim you, then you screwed up. Basically, like going to jail. They offer you the sweetness. She's a witch. She's offering you the sweetness, pulls you in, and then you out of there. And they have a whole system to slander you and everything about you. So you'll understand as we go on inside this clip in this movie. You know, like I said, she's basically telling them, we got to go to this hotel where her nephew work at because it's a good rich hotel, and so if anything happens to you, people will see it. It's not like if you in the hood and nobody's gonna see it. And so witches are basically rich white people and a few fortunate blacks and Latinos and Asians. You know, because they could snatch you up and nobody's gonna hold them accountable, and they gain their wealth off of these smaller ones. And so you would know inside that basically they're vamps, like vampires. They're succubus, seducers, and this is how they pull you in. They steal your wealth based on this. And I've been telling people this. People don't get it. Some people do. What can I do about that? But I'm gonna show you, another clip, and he's asking his grandmother about are there witches around the world, and she was like, yeah, they everywhere, every city, every town. There's a society, basically Freemasons, and these witches, they sit around and they gossip and they shoot the breeze about the spells that they put on, but they have to report to a grand witch, the supreme witch, and she is cruel and she doesn't take no mercy. She wants this done a certain way, you know. And she mentioned something about Norway. You can look into that. That's on you. You know, so Now, inside of that, they are telling you this is a secret society, the female version, the Eastern Stars. So, just like the male counterparts, is white women and a few others. Like I said, the smaller breeds. Us, what they consider, because we're going into their organization and they set it up. So they're gonna just find the predators who want to come into our community and thrive off of it. You understand what I'm saying? But this is just showing you how it works and the people to look out for. And they put it up on the screen for us to see it. And after you learn that this is a secret society, basically called the Eastern Stars, just look into that. And I'm gonna pull up some more videos and you'll see. Now, in this clip, he's asking his grandmother, "How could you tell a real witch from a woman?" And he was like, "Nah, witches are not women. You know, you'll notice them by the corner of their smiles, the cracks because of the makeup cake that they got. Um, they always wearing gloves because their hands are claws. Her feet are, look like their toes were chopped off with an axe, and and the wigs. Oh yeah, the wigs. She she tells you how they bald, and it gives them nasty sores because they wear wigs. It said, it makes them crazy. She said it makes them crazy, and so he basically, finds out these attributes. So later on, when he runs across it, he finds, who's who. You know, but as they take it off, you can get confused, right? These become transvestites. They bald, and they not really women. You gotta be cautious. You can't sleep on them. You have been warned that it's not gonna be what it appears. And she's trying to give you certain descriptions on how you're gonna be able to spot them. And that can go for whether they just good women or bad women too. People who just want to walk around and be too proud and high and mighty. The Jezebel, you know, and if you look into the Jezebel, you would look into this. You would notice, you know, they've been putting this into our community for so long. I mean, before rap music, but it's been a progression. It is not a one moment thing. And they try to make it to black women, but it's not the black woman. She is not the Jezebel. She's better than this. They just put it in our community for so long that this is what it is. Another side of fighting for the money, fighting for their place, and what are you gonna do to get it? We went out there and sold drugs and committed all type of crimes, right? And this was still happening, but then they'll tell you that, it's their time to shine. And y'all wasn't saying it when we was putting this stuff out. So they under the spell. They under the spell chasing the dollar, the Jezebel. Nothing less. That's what it is. This is like Game of Thrones and all of the rest of them. The passing of power and us remaining in a certain place. But look at this other clip where he's actually entering the lodge, and he's saying, basically, it shouldn't be a problem if anybody comes and asks. He'll basically just tell him that he was in there training his child, and if this is a place of cruelty to children, they should understand. It shouldn't really be a problem because they're under the guise of, you know, being for the abuse of children. So they're actually coming in there. Pay attention to these messages. So she basically at this point is talking to the maitre d about the room, and she wanted to make sure that it's just one door, so there's one way in and out, and he's assuring her of that, and he's like, but basically, be cautious because don't start no fires, making a little joke, but he's also telling her, pay attention to the portraits. you know that's one thing you got to notice too. So you see, him, he's climbing underneath. All of this stuff plays a part in the whole scheme of things. It's not like, one thing. I gotta chop it to the parts where it's all making sense. But they're gonna give it to you in pieces. So it's psychological. Some things will be verbal, some things will be visual. Like you see right here with the leg, like you see with the foot, and look how she mandatory tries to get that on point. She moves her foot to make sure that it lands there. You understand what I'm saying? And these are the things that are there in your face, and you won't know. You know, and you would know that the large represents the vagina. And that's the reason why she was asking about the how could you get in, whether it was one way in or out. Meaning just like, you plant the seed in the heart, your thoughts grow, they plant their seeds. So they represent the the large, just like Solomon's temple, no hammers and nothing. And they're saying that that's the vagina. You understand what I'm saying? So now he's basically looking in and cheating and seeing the actions that he's not supposed to be seeing. You know, and so you look into the Eastern Stars. I believe the Eastern Stars is the one where she fell from out of like one of them little lookout things, basically, it's all symbolism, even though how they tell you they got into this. And I believe he was underneath, and he looked and listened, and so they revealed that. And so now in this scene, she calls them so-called ladies as she's going into, taking, the throne part of taking the helm, right? Now inside of this clip, she's basically, the grand wizard or witch or whatever. And if you look onto the top, you'll see that same similarity. You'll see the bald heads that they have. You'll notice that a lot of them, you can be confused on whether or not they're male or female. And then some of them you can actually look, if you look close enough, you could tell that's a man. You know what I'm saying? And so I think when I looked on the names of these people, I believe like two of them were males. You understand what I'm saying? It could be more because it ain't no real picture of them. So that's strange in itself, but I left that alone. But you look at the feet, right? The descriptions. Maybe that's because, for them to get into those uniforms, they gotta remove things because they bigger. You know what I'm saying? But then you look right there, look at the short hairs and the comparisons of the both of them. This is all, you know, um, symbolism. And to understand that is the key. You look at how this looks. She's up at the podium, and he's eavesdropping. He's looking in to things that he's not supposed to. Yeah, so and look, just look at the how these things symbolizes the same thing. Now take notice to Anne Hathaway's part. She transformed and everybody revealed themselves as being the witches. And the key part is when she said so called ladies. Just letting you know you're not really sure what you getting into. But you gotta pay attention to the rituals and how this all what it represents. He's Hiram at this point. At this point, he's about to be reborn. As the movie goes on right here, after this, he's about to become a mouse. But pay attention to her here. Now you see his hand, he's in a coffin. And if that's also the same way, the pledges are made and all of that. So then I'm gonna show you another clip, you know, where, pay attention to the vent. In this part, I want you to look at the vents, right? Pay attention to that now, right? Now we're gonna do, the clock. I want somebody to explain the clock part to me. She had mentioned about the time, and I don't know. So if somebody knows, I'll be happy. But look at the vent again, right? You see now I had just that little hole at the bottom, right? Now you see her. She's being aggressive, right? They holding him down, and she says we're gonna do it the Shakespeare's way, and she dropping stuff into his ear. Now we all know, you know, yes, Shakespeare was a Freemason. That's proven, right? So then you gotta ask yourself, what is this? When you look and you see how he's sitting in the formation of his arm with his hand on his ear, right? Okay, then you see the mallet. Pay attention to the mallet. She's saying that she's not afraid of nothing. The white brave hero, even in the mice form, right? Okay, here come the mallet. I told you, no, wait, but look at the vent, right? What does it represent to you? Look at it, right? Hold on, let me bring this back to you again, right? Hold on. And remember, it was not like that in the previous clips. You know what I'm saying? It was not like that. This is deliberate, right? This is a deliberate thing. This is things that are put there for you to overlook. Now he's reborn, and it's to prove because he came out of the vagina. That hole was not there before. He gave birth, right? Well, you know, she gave birth to a whole new person, meaning the witch, the grand witch. She changed him. So now we're conditioned and trained into a certain thing as this goes on. You got to question yourself, what is this system that's being promoted? And is it good? I can't tell you it's good or bad. I don't think it's good for us as a people. When you look at this, now, like I said, you'll pay attention to the triangle symbol again, because that represents the vagina as well. And you see what's on it. You see the gavel, quote unquote, mallets on there. So if you, and this is not me, you could go look up any of this, see it again, pay attention, and he's saying now that he's a mouse, and because she was saying, don't be scared. And he was like, now that, it's funny, now that I'm a mouse, I'm not afraid no more. I used to be. So now he's reborn to accept, being small in a big world. And, you could see right there, like I said, he's in his grave, and, the mallet part again. You see all of this being present. Because you got to ask yourself, why would they need a mallet? She just pulls a mallet out of nowhere. This is all things you got to understand. The mallet represents getting beat in the head. That's that whole saying, "Don't beat me in the head," comes from. Understand what I'm saying? Because that's what you're doing. You got to get it pounded into you. So here go another clip where, this is just some side things where they got to subliminally put you in a position. Because here it is. She's sitting in a restaurant. He's trying to get her the best seat supposedly. And she says, I'm going to sit by the kitchen, and look at the wardrobe, straight mammy. This is the symbol that they telling the black women as well. While they trying to tell you that they gonna put us in a submissive, weak state, what are they telling you about you as well? You not alienated from this. They just using you to manipulate the system on us, joining the feminist movement. You know, and so you look and you know that it's again a vampire, because she's talking about getting into there, without with a spare key, and saying that she can basically go downstairs and get one. So the real part is pay attention to the background imagery, because she's telling her, "Oh, I beat you because you ate the soup with the garlic in it," and so she's laughing at her like, I didn't eat the garlic soup, stupid. You see, so you jumped ahead of yourself. But pay attention to the background. Now, if you understand and you look up Nike, it's the goddess of justice, right? And so you see that these things have been planted inside our society for a while. So if they have already been putting all of this in the position, when are we supposed to catch up? Because the ones who did know on outside helped them for their slight benefit. You know what I'm saying? So you look and you tell me if this is not the same thing, if these symbolisms are not put there on purpose. You understand what I'm saying? I just told you there's a craft, and so in all of these they have a system so they could find the right people to understand what to put in and how to put it there. They deliberately had it inside of this supposed expensive hotel. You understand what I'm saying? Just so they can make sure that they have these images there, and so they bring about, the Jezebel, and this lifestyle that they live in, this haughty style. Just like when you look at Game of Thrones, it's the same thing. This is the message that's being promoted. That yeah, they're gonna let them reign for a while, but they're gonna get their reward. But you gotta ask yourself this. So now when we look at another clip, it's gonna basically, address, you know, um, her. She's Jezebel. She's getting her just rewards, right? She's being thrown off. You gotta watch, right? Okay. Now now if you look at the imagery, you see the ark. You see all of the symbolism. You see this is what happened to Jezebel. If you know the history, so you see the bra, the wig, the expensive clothes of the Jezebel. you know. So when she went up in the ark, just like the how they say with the dollar bill and the pyramid and how it was missing is knocked out because nobody is no they say no physical being is ever gonna truly meet that grandness. So in this clip right here, they show you all her wealth that she accumulated through these devious acts and her cronies. Remember, because at this time, all of the cronies had already been turned to rats, and stomped out and all of that, which is all, like I said, symbolism, all things that you can find outside of this movie, and they always reflect back to a certain style of person. So this is what's really being implemented, that psychology. You understand what I'm saying? So she's showing you the ledger, and this is where you can go. Basically, if you go into any one of these spots and you spot these things, this is where you can find out who's the real culprits, who's the real ones causing the problems within our community. You understand what I'm saying? And once you look at that and you find these things out, you'll know who to address. The troublemakers, those who's moving in a secret way, the assassins of our characters, and they training everybody to go with it because this is what they deem as the way it's supposed to go. You know, and so like I said, with the you pay attention to the wealth that was accumulated and how they're going about, you know, um, getting rich through a pyramid scheme. Follow my plan. You get in, and we'll look out for you when you got your little problems. We'll co-sign that, and this is what it is. And this is Freemasonry. If you don't know it, because people talk about Freemasonry, but they don't break down what's Freemasonry. How do you use it, and how is it being used against you? More importantly, fuck how you use it is how you prevent it from happening to you. And if you want to know, cool. But if you don't, what can I do about it? But check out this last clip. I believe this is my last clip. And, she's basically, telling him it's okay that he's never gonna be a man. He'll be remain a boy. And you got to look at the camera angles of him being put into a small situation, and him saying that, he's asking how long would he live. She's telling him, well, maybe like 9 years, and she's getting old in age, and he wants to die with her. He wants to die with her. He's saying, when you die, I want to die when you die because nobody gonna treat me like you. What kind of message are you putting in here to the children? Is looked at, and you can't, you're gonna, the last person to look out for you is your grandmama. And what kind of message is this? And so I'd rather die with her. And this is at a time of pandemics and all. This is the message that you ain't got a problem putting out for black boys. You understand what I'm saying? He's talking about how they just this happy family now. I don't understand, how they're trying to promote us to no longer accept being men. He's never gonna grow up to be a man. He's gonna die a mouse. And if these symbolism ain't deep to you, you know, then I can't tell you nothing. It's like you start losing yourself, and is this for real? You know, so welcome to the New World Order. And I hope you learned something about Freemasonry, and this is how it works. This is what it does. You understand? This is the New World Order. Putting us in a submissive state and scattering us around, sending us, our sisters, out into a world of chaos while they making the moves, having us in a submissive state, basically castrating us, from the start. And we have to understand this. Our beef is not with each other. These gender wars are foolish that are orchestrated. This is all orchestrated. Over finances to keep us from getting to the finances because if they shift the power and either way it's still the crumbs. Either way, I don't care which side you on. You need to pay attention. Pay attention. That's all it costs, man. A little attention.
Hey, yo, Mo, I'm
All
fucking
right,
with
man.
this.
This is Juice Wonder with another episode of Smoking Jokes. Y'all be good.